Look at this. My morning tea is completely ruined. I walked out here feeling good about life, expecting to see the first blush of red on my brandywine tomatoes. Instead, I see lace. My tomato leaves have been chewed to the skeletal veins. It is heartbreaking. I sent it? You baby a plant from a tiny, fragile seed in February. You keep it under grow lights. You harden it off. You water it faithfully. And then in a single moonlit night, nature turns your hard work into a buffet for a hornworm the size of my thumb. For 30 years, I was trapped in the same cycle as most of you. It was a cycle of fear and reaction. I saw a bug, I panicked. I ran to the garage, and I grabbed a bottle of something with a skull and crossbones on it. I sprayed everything down until the garden smelled like a laboratory, and maybe it worked for a week. But then the pests came back, and they brought friends. What I didn't realize back then was that I was destroying my own army. Every time I sprayed to kill an aphid, I was also murdering the ladybugs, the lacewings, and the tiny wasps that were born to protect my garden for free. I was winning a tiny battle but losing the entire war. I was creating a vacuum that only the bad bugs could fill. Everything changed a few years ago in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. I was visiting some Amish friends, and I saw something that defied everything I knew about gardening. Their plants were huge. Their leaves were dark, waxy, imperfect. I asked them, "What is the brand of pesticide you use?" The old grandmother just laughed. She told me they hadn't used a chemical on their land for over 300 years. Their secret is a philosophy called Galassenheit. It is a German word that is hard to translate perfectly, but in the garden, it means yielding to the natural order. It is the belief that God's design is perfect, and our job isn't to control nature, but to work within its balance. Today, I am breaking down that 300-year-old system into 6 actionable steps that will change the way you look at a bug forever. And please, stick with me until the very end, because I am going to show you a trick using what most people call bathroom trash, literally something you throw away every single day, that has given me a 100% survival rate for my seedlings against the silent snipers of the garden. Cutworms. You won't find this in any modern gardening book, but it is the most effective tool I own. The Amish start in the soil, not on the leaves. This is the biggest mistake we make in modern gardening. We treat the symptom, the bug, instead of the source, the plant's health. Let us look at the science of why this works. When you grow a plant in dead soil and feed it with synthetic blue liquids or salt-based fertilizers, you are giving the plant what I call a sugar high. It grows fast, it looks green, but its cell walls are thin, watery, and weak. The plant has no natural density. To a pest, that plant is like a giant, soft candy bar. It is easy to chew and full of simple sugars. But when you build soil that is biologically alive, something miraculous happens. Plants produce higher concentrations of natural defensive compounds, alkaloids, phenols, and terpenes. These are the plant's natural immune system. It is like the difference between a person who eats junk food and someone who eats a balanced, nutrient-dense diet. Who do you think fights off a cold better? Every single spring, I follow the Amish method of the heavy mulch. I spread 3 inches of well-aged compost across every square inch of my beds. But not just any compost. The Amish swear by aged horse or cow manure. Why? Because it is packed with microbes that create a symbiotic relationship with your plant roots. These microbes act like a delivery service. They mine trace minerals like silica and calcium from deep in the earth and feed them to your tomatoes. Silica makes the cell walls of the leaves literally too tough for an aphid mouth to pierce. It is like the plant is growing its own suit of armor from the inside out. When a bug bites a plant like this, it doesn't find sugar, it finds a tough, bitter leaf that is hard to digest. The bugs eventually give up and move to the neighbor's house where the plants are soft. Before we move to step 2, I want to hear from you. Have you noticed that your weakest plants are always the ones that get hit by bugs first? Tell me about your experience with soil in the comments. Are you a composter, or are you still relying on those store-bought blue bottles? Let us talk about it. Now, once your soil is strong, How do we hide the vegetables from the pests that are already flying around? This brings us to step 2, the olfactory maze. Think about how a pest finds your garden. A cabbage white butterfly or a tomato hornworm moth doesn't have a map. They don't have eyes like ours. They use highly sensitive noses and their antennae to pick up chemical signals called volatile organic compounds. When you plant a long, neat, single crop row of 20 cabbages, you are basically putting up a giant neon sign in the dark that says all you can eat buffet. The Amish break this signal. They don't plant in rows, they plant in communities. I've adopted this by never planting a tomato alone. For every tomato plant, I tuck in a bush of basil or marigolds about 10 inches from the base. The intense, clove-like scent of the basil jams the radar of the hornworm. They fly over the garden, smell the basil, and their brain thinks, nothing to eat here, so they keep on flying. I also interplant dill and cilantro between my brassicas cabbage, kale, broccoli. These herbs serve a double purpose. Their scent confuses the bad bugs, but when they flower, their tiny white and yellow blossoms attract the special forces parasitic wasps. Now, don't be scared when I say wasps. These aren't the big yellow jackets that ruin your picnic. These are tiny stingles wasps that are the primary predator of caterpillars. They lay their eggs inside the caterpillar, effectively ending the pest problem from the inside out. By planting dill, you aren't just confusing the enemies, you are recruiting the soldiers. But what happens if the confusion isn't enough? What if a few pests break through the maze and land on your plants anyway? That's where your private security guards come in, and they are the subject of step 3. A healthy garden should be a silent place. It should hum, buzz, and crawl. The Amish don't want a sterile garden. They want a balanced one. In a balanced garden, you have a 10-to-1 ratio of good bugs to bad bugs. A single ladybug can eat 50 aphids a day. One lacewing larva, often called the aphid lion, can devour 200 aphids in its short lifetime. These are your private security guards, and they work for free, 24 hours a day, while you are inside sleeping. The secret to keeping them. The 3 rules. The biggest mistake people make is buying a bag of ladybugs from a garden center and dumping them in the garden. Don't do that. They will be gone in an hour. Why? Because you didn't follow the 3 rules of habitat. Rule 1. Provide nectar. Adult ladybugs and lacewings need pollen and nectar to survive and breed. You need to create insect-airy strips, small patches of flowers like sweet alyssum, yarrow, and queen and S-lace. Rule 2. Provide water. A small, shallow dish with pebbles in it so they don't drown allows your gardens to stay hydrated in the summer heat. Rule 3. Leave the mess. This is the hardest one for modern gardeners. You need to leave a little bit of controlled mess. A small pile of stones, a few old logs, or a patch of clover gives ground beetles a place to hide. These beetles are the lions of the soil surface. They hunt slugs and cutworms at night. If your garden is too clean, your guards have nowhere to live. If you are ready to stop being the janitor of your garden and start being the manager of an ecosystem, hit that like button right now. It tells me you are ready for this shift in perspective. This step is about connection, not just chores. Every morning, before I check my emails, before I look at my phone, I take a walk with a small bucket of soapy water. This is my meditation. The Amish catch problems when they are tiny. One horned worm on a Monday is a 5-second fix. 20 horned worms by Friday is a disaster that requires a heavy-duty spray. By walking your garden daily, you become part of the ecosystem. You start to see the tiny orange eggs on the underside of the leaves before they even hatch. You become the ultimate predator. But what if the pest pressure is just too high? Maybe you live in an area with a massive aphid population. That is when you use the trap crop strategy. This is a very old-school Amish move that feels like magic. I plant Nestor chamest and blue Hubbard squash on the very perimeter of my garden beds, about 10 feet away from my main vegetables. Think of these as sacrificial lambs. Aphids find Nestor chamest more irresistible than they find your peppers. They are a magnet for pests. The beauty of this is that the pests cluster on the trap crop, which keeps your main harvest clean. You aren't trying to kill every bug anymore. You're just giving them a place to go where they won't bother your dinner. It has a peace treaty with nature. You eat the flowers on the edge and I eat the tomatoes in the middle. Now, for those rare moments when the system is out of balance, maybe because of a week of 100-degree heat or a heavy storm that washed away your guards, you might need a direct intervention. But we still stay away from the hardware store chemicals. I use the Amish garlic chili deterrent. It is important to understand. This doesn't kill insects, we don't want to kill our ladybugs. Instead, it makes the plant taste and smell absolutely repulsive to pests. The heat. Take 5 cloves of fresh, crushed garlic into the hottest peppers. You can find habanero S or Thai chilies are perfect. The capsaicin in the peppers acts as an irritant. The steep. Steep them in 1 liter of warm water for a full 24 hours. You want that water to become a potent chemical repellent. The binder. Strain it well so it doesn't clog your sprayer. And add 1 teaspoon of liquid dish soap. The soap is critical. It is a surfactant. Without it, the water will just roll off the waxy leaves of a cabbage or a pepper plant like water off a duck's back. The soap breaks the surface tension and makes the hot water stick to the leaf. Never spray this at noon. The oils in the garlic and the soap can act like a magnifying glass under the intense sun and scorch your leaves. Always spray at dusk. The smell will be gone to human noses by morning, but to a bug, your garden will smell like a danger zone. And finally, the secret I promised you. The bathroom trash treasure. When you transplant a young, tender seedling into the ground, its stem is like a soft green straw. This is when cutworms strike. These are the larvae of moths that live in the soil. At night they crawl out, wrap their bodies around the base of your plant, and snip it right at the soil line like a pair of scissors. It is the most frustrating way to lose a plant you've raised for months. Take this cardboard roll, cut it into 3-inch sections, and slide it over your seedling like a protective collar. Push it 1 inch into the dirt and leave 2 inches above ground. You've just built a medieval fortress. The cutworm crawls along the ground, hits the cardboard, and realizes it can climb it, and it can't burrow under it. It gives up and moves on. By the time the cardboard naturally rots away and turns into compost, the plant's stem has become thick, woody, and safe from predators. It costs $0, and it is 100% effective. Gardening this way, the Amish way, isn't just about growing food. It is about Galassenheit. It is about finding peace, harmony, and a deep connection to the earth. When you stop fighting nature, gardening stops being a chore and starts being a joy. If Auntie forget to subscribe to Leo's Garden Life for more wisdom from the old world. Thank you for spending these times with me. Now, go out there, build your soil, and I'll see you in the next harvest.